opening of our regularly scheduled meeting for Norton Conservation Commission on Monday, June 9th, 2025. It is, well, I can't really tell here. I think it's 6:30 p.m. And so we have participating tonight, myself, Julian Kadish, Chair, Lisa Carosa, Vice Chair, Joe Carvalho, Dan Pearson, and I saw Paxton there as well, Paxton Halshall. And we also have our director, John Thomas, and our assistant, Megan Harp, on the call. Our first item of business is prior meeting minutes of 5/12. Anybody have any comments about that? Oh, I should note that there might have been a little confusion about exactly which agenda, because initially there were two posted, but the official agenda is the one that is stamped. And also we will note that Mark Fernandez has joined the meeting. So concerning the minutes of May 12th, any comments, questions, additions, revisions?
Just a very minor thing on page 4. Further discussion is as to whether the correlating request, blah, 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 blah.
Give me a couple more details. Which one?
Just before 250-1179. So the notation before 250-1179, it says further discussion is as to whether the correlating request will be closed out. You might say something like,
well, we can substitute related for the word correlating, just to be more, because it is specifically related. Is that what you meant?
No, the is as part, but actually what I should have done is I should have rewritten that sentence in my head, but
I think if we just
anyway,
we'll be all set.
Is as the other thing, really nitpicky thing, DEPs in the 250-1179, the top line. I just want to reverse the apostrophe, and below that, Jacob is in lowercase. Below that to the right.
Yeah, I think the apostrophe is appropriate though, because
oh, is this one of these new things? PC
no, it's the comments are the possession of DEP, right?
Yes, I just mean the direction of the apostrophe. It just needs to be.
You know what?
It's not like I said.
See the direction. Well, I guess I'm not even sure anybody would pick up on that detail.
I just updated them.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, Megan.
All right. Any other spots? They look pretty complete to me. I mean, they were complete to me.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as discussed for May 12th, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion made by Lisa, seconded by Joe. So Lisa and Paxton, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Mark, Joe, and Dan, how do you vote?
Aye.
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 All right, and I'll throw in an aye, the motion carried. Next item, I believe, for continuation, we have, file number 250-1178, 0 Leonard Street, request continuation until June 23rd.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Lisa, seconded by Dan. Lisa, Paxton, and Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
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 And Joe and Dan.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye, the motion carries. Public inquiries department updates.
Do we just continue 0 Leonard Street?
Yes.
Okay,
We did.
just making sure. So for upcoming updates, I received some new documentation on a project that is, I guess it was coming in front of us for an ANRAD. It was we required they do a vernal pool survey. I can tell you right now to the commission that they completed their vernal pool survey and they submitted their information. So they're going to be coming back in front of us either the next meeting or the one following that, with just basically their findings to address them to the commission before they file for the notice of intent for what they're proposing at the property. So as of now, no real new projects have come in. We haven't really had a lot of things happen. But we are still working and trying to figure out the rest of these ones that are on our docket. So that's really all I have right now. We're going to be going through another transition again, just to kind of give everybody a heads up that the town manager is ending his term this month. So we're going to be getting potentially a new town manager. So that's going to be happening. And let's see, what else can I apprise the commission on? I think that's it for now. Oh, more importantly, the board is going to be going through an overhaul at the end of the month. We have 2 terms that are up. Paxton is going to be moving, so he's going to be going on to bigger and brighter things. And Tama is very, busy with her current work schedule and is unable to attend the meetings as she normally would. So she has informed us that she cannot be, continuing this as well. So they both feel bad about this situation. I know that they both have learned a lot as being members on this board and, wish us the best for doing the good thing that we do here in Norton. So.
Well, you know what the rule is, Paxton. You can't leave till you find a replacement, right? Just
I
saying.
wouldn't mind sticking along for a bit more, but yeah.
Well, we appreciate your participation and, every question makes a difference when it comes to evaluating projects and where the town is going to go. So we appreciate your being here.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Best of luck, Paxton.
Thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda is a continued public hearing. It is file number 250-1173, which we kept open simply because of the amount of time from our last meeting, and I believe everything is in order and we can close it to review the orders of conditions later in the meeting. So is that a fair statement, John?
That is correct. So the items this evening are going to be closing this project and then issuing the certificate of compliance for the current project that's on the property and then issuing the order for the new project. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, we had talked about that last time and whether to keep the old project open until this meeting. We decided to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So With that said, unless there are any further questions or discussion, we can consider a motion to close the public hearing for file number 250-1173.
So moved.
So,
Second.
Well, that was quick moves there. I think the motion was by Mark, the second by priority went to Lisa. And so Lisa, Paxton, and Mark, how do you vote?
aye.
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 And Joe and Dan.
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. The motion carries. So we are now at file number 250-1174, 361 Rear, Old Colony Road. And do we have a representative of that applicant?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. And it probably would be appropriate to share your screen.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so I figured I'd show what I came here last time for because it's been kind of a while. Kind of jog the board's memory. This is what we last showed you guys. And there was some concern about the land subject to flooding and potential vernal pool. And so Jason and met Ken, the botanist out there. We did a calculation for the isolated land subject to flooding. Ken flagged the vernal pool. So we went back to the drawing board and kind of had to relocate this access drive. So I'll pull that up now to show you guys what we changed. And this is kind of what we're going for now. So instead of coming down here, just past the lot of 359, we're coming up in front of Jason, the owner's house. And the access drive now is coming along to service this proposed office warehouse building. The site is all contained through catch basin areas where it goes to an oil grit separator, where it's then discharged into a drainage area. Then the grading plan gives a more detailed view of the grading, the outfalls, riprap areas, grading, and the drainage structures and how they lay out.
Sorry, can you zoom in? That's a little too far out, so I
Yeah, of
can
course.
see that grading.
Oh, sorry. Let me find it again.
Okay.
Can you see that okay?
Yeah, that looks good.
The roof area, as you can see, is contained by the roof chambers, and then the parking lot and the access drive is going to be contained through catch basins, where they are conveyed into drain manholes, and then all the stormwater is cleaned in the oil grit separator, and then it's dispersed into a drainage basin.
So I guess the question for John, I assume you've gone over this. And does this satisfy all of the stormwater concerns? John, did you hear
Oh,
that?
you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
We can.
Okay,
Yes.
great. I switched from Verizon to Nextel, so we're all good.
Okay.
So I guess the issue that I have is that, you know, the vernal pool, if it's certifiable, then for instance, it needs to meet all the stormwater handbook requirements. And that's where it becomes problematic for the infiltration basin that is within 50 feet of the 50 feet of the vernal pool. I don't know if that can be adjusted or shifted to compensate for the roadway. I mean, that's, or the access drive. I mean, it still needs to have the stormwater and everything to the liking to kind of attenuate all the runoff potential. It's I just, I'm not an engineer, but I know that, for instance, there's a potential issue here with meeting the stormwater handbook as we currently look at this plan. So, that's my only concern really, is just meeting that stipulation for the vernal pool setback at this point in time. I think everything else the peer reviewer has looked at and has signed off on for meeting compliance, because they went back and forth, Pat Brennan and the applicant. So they went back and forth with peer review comments. So it seems that they have addressed all the other remaining items that need to be addressed, but it's just the vernal pool where that's currently the challenge right now.
So I have a comment. So is the work proposed within 25 feet of the wetland within our no touch zone, no disturb zone?
For the isolated land subject to flooding?
Anywhere.
I mean, the work is
Right,
within 25 feet of the isolated land subject to flooding, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Patrick didn't opine, or whoever did the peer review didn't opine on the vernal pool discharge in proximity to the vernal pool?
He did give me comments back on that too.
Okay. So, I mean, the other thing is basically you're just destroying the entire upland habitat of the vernal pool. The vernal pool itself is just one piece of it, right? So we all know that the critters live 11 months and 2 weeks of the year in the upland where the basin's going. And they go into the pool to breed. So we're basically taking away their habitat in that entire location with that discharge. What about subsurface infiltration?
So there was a comment the review engineer made that we can't infiltrate within 50 feet of surface water. So we adjusted our basin and we proposed an impervious liner that's kind of that gray hatched liner, that gray hatched area. So that's going to be like an impervious liner. Either it can be like a rubber liner or compacted clay, so it won't infiltrate. And just the area outside of that will be infiltration. And then certain storm events, the water will be clean and will overflow to this V-notch here and then go on its way. And
I'm sorry. So in lieu of a surface detention basin, subsurface infiltration.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
In lieu of a detention basin, what about subsurface infiltration chambers? Not in this location, but up by the building.
Yeah, we did that for the roof. We just didn't have we have the elevation there, but to catch the water at the low points of the site, we don't have separation of groundwater to infiltrate the entire site.
You know what that tells me? It's really not a developable site then.
Is there a possibility that the basin could go in the direction of the property line? Could be moved in the direction of the property line?
Yeah, I'm sure we could take another look and see if there's another place to do the drainage. But
Yeah, I'd rather see it going longitudinal. So if you take elevation, see the bottom of your basin's there at 113. So look at the 113 contour right there.
yeah,
Existing, not proposed.
existing. Okay, right
In the
here.
basin, right?
Yeah,
And continue straight, I don't know what direction, say north is up the page, southeast. So make it oblong instead of that shape, unless there's
Yeah.
a reason. So pull that away as far as you can from the vernal pool.
Okay,
So it almost should be flipped, right? The widest part of it should be on the other side next to the ILSF, not by the vernal pool. That's for starters. So you want to minimize the intrusion next to that vernal pool. I don't think that's been done yet.
okay.
And, are those 2-to-1 slopes or 3-to-1?
3-1.
3-to-1, okay. Well, I think the possibility of stretching that shape, elongating it will help a great deal in removing it from the vicinity of the vernal pool.
Yeah, we'll take a look at infiltration again. Obviously, I don't have the answer off the top of my head when we started this back in January why we went to a basin and why half of it's on chambers, but that's something we'll revisit as well. We'll see. Obviously, ideally, you guys would like to see this in infiltration chambers next to the building, correct?
Yes.
And then say that's not working or we're having a problem with area or separation. I think the second best scenario would be elongate this basin so it's kind of at the 113, stretch it out and kind of maximize its infiltration in this area, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
And we have seen projects with infiltration basins or infiltration chambers under the slab as well. Particularly these very large warehouse-like structures. They've done that, and that could relieve the requirement for as large a detention basin substantially, I think.
yeah.
Can we go back to what, I just want to go back to what you originally had for a design. I know you were bisecting or going in between the ILSF and,
Yeah, want me to pull it up?
yeah, if you could.
Sure.
So, John Thomas, you said if that's a certifiable vernal pool. I mean, I assume it is. I mean, we're going to assume that it is, right?
Right. I mean, it
Yeah.
it says that it needs to be a certified vernal pool for it to basically have the same setbacks.
Oh, so we not only had the infiltration basin there, but this obnoxious roadway in between them. So, okay, I got it. So yeah, I would like to see you look at alternatives for the location of this basin
Okay,
and measures to, first we like to avoid and then minimize. So,
got it. I'll just inform our client that I would have to make some changes to where we're going to be doing some drainage.
John, was this the issue with the abutter that was getting flooded out?
Yes, correct.
Okay,
Same person that came in to talk.
okay. All right. Okay.
Any further questions? So, Michael, I think you have a reasonable idea as to how to try to address these issues.
Yeah, we have some alternatives you guys pointed out you'd like to see, and I think we're just going to have to go back and see which one is best.
So, unless there are further questions or comments, we can consider a motion to continue, and our next meeting, I think, is the 23rd. Is that acceptable, Michael?
Yes, that worked.
All right, looking for a motion to continue the public hearing for file number 250-1174.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dan, seconded by Lisa. Lisa, Joe, and Dan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Mark and Paxton, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye, motion carries, so we'll see you next time, Michael.
All right, thank you.
We have no new public hearings, so we now are on, requests for certificates of compliance. And, we have, well, 250-1146, 38 Charlotte Avenue. Can't remember the detail, but it was adjacent Winnicott.
Yeah, so this was the project that the developer built a house in the floodplain, and the concern was that he didn't have a floodplain certificate and the grass was not established on the property. Well, I can confidently tell you that I did receive a floodplain certificate that was signed off by the building commissioner, and also that I've been on site and there is grass growing. So I would recommend to the commission that this project be issued a full COC, as it meets all the criteria that was requested out of it from the order of conditions.
So I'll make a motion to issue a full COC for file 250-1146.
Second.
We have a motion by Lisa, seconded by Mark, for full COC. Lisa, Paxton, and Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
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 And Joe and Dan.
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye, motion carries. Then we have, file number 250-772, 225 South Worcester Street.
So we actually just recently issued an order of conditions for this project. The landowner has been, for the last, I want to say 6 to 8 months, been trying to get this previous owner of the property to sign off on this document for requesting the COC, because the permit's in their name. So they actually just received it. I have a pre-construction meeting with them tomorrow for the actual project that we issued 2 or 3 weeks ago. So they would like to have this signed off on. None of the work that was out there was done for this project, because it was a different project and they never pursued it. So this one would be similar to the other one that we just issued last meeting, that just saying that the orders are now expired, and that that's really kind of the term that we put in there, that check.
So this was the previous project at
This
that.
was the previous project that was never pursued for this site. Yes.
So I'll make a motion to issue a full COC for file 250-772.
Second.
Motion by Lisa, seconded by Paxton. Lisa, Paxton, and Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
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 And Joe and Dan?
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. And now we come to file number 250-1119, which is the prior set of orders on the site that we just closed the hearing for the new set of orders on South Washington Street. So we can close this so that we have another set of orders that we're going to issue.
Yeah, so technically what happens here is that all pre-existing work that has been already pursued will go into the next order of conditions, and that would be kind of what we're basically saying in this issuance of this certificate, is that the new file, which is going to be for 1173, is going to be now the document that is moving forward, and this one is now superseded. So
Make a motion to issue a full COC for file 250-1119.
Second.
So we have a motion by Lisa, seconded by Joe. Lisa, Paxton, and Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
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 Joe and Dan?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye, and the motion carries. And now we can consider the order of conditions for file number 250-1173 concerning 0 South Washington Street. It is pretty much the standard set with regard to the findings, though they are unique. And it is noted that this order supersedes file number 250-1119 that we just closed. And it talks about the plan for the 5,000 square foot warehouse, 3,500 square foot of bituminous, and 80,000 square foot of gravel. And then the only other unique item is in 32 C and D, providing a slip and evidence of maintaining the stormwater management system. So any questions, comments?
I don't see this on Google Docs. Am I missing something?
Well, you know, things have changed. You have to click on it, click on the file number, and then do a download. And it takes a while.
Download.
So it's,
What's that?
A download.
Yeah, well, I don't know, you know, I have had some crazy things happening with the Google Drive. And so I wasn't sure if it was just me, but that was the only way I could reveal the document, was to do a download from Google Drive.
So in 0 South Washington Street, the notice of intent file.
okay, I got it. Usually
Uh,
it just lists it, so I had to click on that file and then it was embedded. I got it. It was a two-stepper. Usually it comes right up.
It's more of a 3-stepper now. I made
Okay.
it so that way there's folders.
Okay,
I know
I got it.
Megan gets annoyed with me in the office because I'm the folder king. I put everything in folders.
Okay.
But everything else is laid out according to the standard format of prior to construction, administrative, and all of those are standard except for the last part, which is post-construction.
So, John, 32C. Provide all SWIP reports and documents. You got to be a little more specific. I don't know what you mean by that. Provide all SWIP reports and documents to the contractor.
So
What
I
document?
guess SWIP reports and if they're gonna have, sorry, let me rephrase that. Corrective action documents.
Corrective actions. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably just want to.
Yep. Modified.
Yeah. Okay. So that's upon completion of all proposed and approved work. That should be during, right? Or,
What's
or
that?
do you ask for it at the end?
What's that? No, at the end they have to provide everything.
Oh, so you don't ask for the reports, the
Oh,
SWIP
I asked-
reports
I
as
asked
they
for-
go?
Well, they currently have a current SWIP report and they provided us an updated one. So I have a copy of that. But once everything's done, I need to make sure that they have their, because for instance, the SWIP shouldn't always be the same document that they currently have from when they start the project. It should have a whole itinerary of everything that they've done with all the reports and everything in a book log of their inspections.
Yeah, but the point is that you want to see those reports as they do them on a weekly
Right.
basis, right?
And they do provide them to me. But
So
I
is
need-
that under,
Yeah,
Okay.
so for instance, what happens is at the pre-construction meeting, we have a meeting that sets up that says, I need to know that we're going to have these provided to me on a continual basis when you do them. And what I've been having a lot of applicants do is just on a Google SharePoint drive, they just basically give me that and they upload everything to those Google SharePoint
Okay.
drives. I have them all bookmarked for every single job site that we have.
okay,
that's currently
okay, so I
in town.
get it.
Yeah.
So, but does the construction term condition include that provision?
Which one?
That's what I'm asking.
Construction.
construction term, right? It's a construction term deliverable, not to be a pain in the neck, but it's under post-construction. I think we also need to have something in there that says during construction, right? During construction, they are to give us copies of all those reports. I guess that's what I'm getting at. If it's not already written there.
I mean, I have construction requirements, which is going up further. We have administrative conditions.
Right,
We have prior to construction.
Yeah, that's not gonna cut it. So we need a condition. You know they upload them to the Google Drive.
Right.
We need a condition in here during construction. The contractor is to provide weekly reports, right? Because it's every 7 or every 14 calendar days.
Mhm.
So I think we just need one during construction. So I get it that in the end, post-construction, you want the full book of everything.
Yep.
Okay.
I
So
mean,
think
I'm just gonna put in here, so under item C in here, this whole entire document, construction
Mhm.
requirements.
Yep.
And in there, I'm just going to say that they have to provide us
Yep.
weekly SWIP.
Yep.
Reports.
Thank you.
And I'll just highlight that for now because
Okay.
I have language which I'm going to insert in there.
Okay. Yeah, that should just be part of our
It's going to be part of our
standard.
template.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
But there are many projects where there's not really a SWIP, like,
Every project has one, Julian, that's over an acre of disturbance. Every project. Every project.
okay, so residential development doesn't.
Yep.
doesn't
Anything that's
Depends-
over an acre.
Depends
Yeah.
on the residential development, unfortunately.
No, it shouldn't. It depends on the acreage of disturbance. If it's a single family home and it's less than an acre, you don't need a SWIP, but that's
Right.
covered under our stormwater management bylaw.
Exactly.
All right,
All right, that's it. That all said, I will make a motion to issue the order conditions for file 250-1173 as discussed.
Second.
motion by Lisa, seconded by Joe. Lisa, Paxton, and Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
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 And Joe and Dan,
Aye.
Aye.
and I'll throw in an aye, so the motion carries. And I think that brings us to the end of our agenda. That sound right, John?
Yes. Until the next meeting, which is going to be on the 23rd.
John, I have a quick question for you.
Mhm.
I know things are sometimes can get really slow in the summer. Are you familiar with towns and cities and towns that only have one meeting in the summer?
Yes, I am actually. So if anyone would like to potentially, obviously petition, I guess is kind of the term that I'd like to throw out there. Petition that we move towards July, August kind of summer schedule. I would welcome it. If you guys are more in line with kind of because of all the holidays and people taking time off and stuff, I would definitely not be opposed to it. But if you would like to, just let me know. I mean, obviously, we do know that we have 2 members that would be, ending their term come July 1st. So, I just want to make sure everybody's going to be available for the next couple meetings. So what I'll do is I will have Megan send out some potential times and dates of when our next meetings are. So that way we can, figure out if we would like to officially, make it a 1 month July and a 1 meeting July and a 1 meeting August. So
The only thing I never understood was how they met the statutory time frame. And I guess everybody just accepts it and they just keep continuing everything, right?
So if somebody, that's kind of the thing is obviously you need to render a decision within a certain amount of time if somebody submits an application.
Yep.
And that's where, we could probably make it work that way. It's just figuring out how it's going to work for us. So
Yeah, exactly. Well, I first encountered it a few years ago, and we just shrugged and said, okay. And it was mainly North Shore towns. And I thought, well, is everybody out boating all summer, at night? I don't know. I just thought it was odd. And I'm like, okay. And I noticed that we don't have as many things on the agenda. So I'm like, well, it might be time to do it. And most places do it for 3 months, like June, July, August. Not that that matters, but I think July and August would be reasonable.
But I think it depends on the flow of applications. Because if a very large project with, a lot of details arrives, we may have to consider twice a month.
Yeah, I just don't know the logistics of how those towns work around missing the 21 days. I mean, we used to just say, okay, well, I guess we won't be having a meeting yet. I mean, no, we're not going to challenge anybody or, but
But
I don't
currently,
know how that works.
I do know we're going to have a larger project coming through the door that's probably going to be in July and August. I just don't know when it's going to be.
What's that going to be, John?
That was the one that's the project over near the extended stay over on South Washington Street. I know they're coming in. They're coming in for the planning board as well. So I know that will be on the books for us at some point.
Back up.
I just don't know when it's going to be.
I have a,
Okay.
It's a residential development or a commercial?
Commercial.
I think that if Megan wants to do a quick tally on who will be away. For instance, I know I won't be here August, I think it's 11th.
maybe these North Shore towns and these other towns that have done that, maybe they know that they can't meet quorum. So if we all put our calendar in there and we know we
Yep.
can't meet quorum, then
Yep.
avoid the inconvenience to the public.
Well, for that matter, I will not be here August 11th either.
Oh. Well, there we go. I'm seeing a pattern.
I'm always here, always.
And
always here.
so I will say that by August 11th, I would anticipate that we're not going to have a quorum. And I would probably, because Paxton and Tama will not be on the commission, I doubt we're going to have anyone by that point in time. But that means, we would only have 3 members and we would not have a quorum on the 11th. So
So should we note that now, John, and then just go to the
yes,
25th of August?
I would say that
The
we will,
25th, right? Yeah.
we will make that known to applicants and whatnot as well.
Okay, so the July dates would be the 14th and the 28th. I mean, I'll be around for both of those. I don't know if anybody's off in July.
I don't have any conflicts, so I'll probably be here.
Okay.
And I think I would be here too.
So maybe just August. Maybe we take baby steps. Maybe we just go just August this year. And that wasn't even by, cutting it back. It's just vacation. So it's more than legitimate. So, okay. So there you go, John. You only have to work one night in August.
I'm not complaining.
I didn't think you would.
All right, any further items? If not, we can consider a motion for closing it up.
Motion to close.
Motion to close.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Take care.
Everybody.
Good night, everyone. Good night, y'all.